to run him downstairs, but it's dark out a little bit. So I want to hop on here real quick because I mean, I woke up with a good down low and I just wanted to show my face before it got dark. So hold on, we're off. We're off. 1 second. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Okay. Go, BB. Come on. Un momento, por favor. Let's see. Okay. Turn this on. There you go. Okay. Now we're good. You okay, Gigi? Put the volume up on this side. Okay, this what came to mind. Man, hold on. And I got to get this out. I got to get this out. It's real interesting. So I was thinking about this. Okay, so you know how people be like, these terms like late bloomer. Like, yo, you a late bloomer. And then I thought about how, you know, really the words that people use, the words that's any words that exist, it's all about the meaning you give to it. And I thought, what if late bloomer really is a word that's, of course, science talk about you got to be between a certain age bracket, especially for women when it comes to having kids, to have a more healthier child. But just in general, just the term late bloomer, what if that's a term that's empowering, but we just don't know it? Because I thought sometimes the longer you wait before you have kids, that's a higher chance that you'll be a little bit more evolved consciously, a little bit more of a self-aware person, where you'll be a conscious parent. You'll be somebody who's considered more of a conscious trauma bonding and stuff. You'll be conscious, a little bit more self-aware. Not that anybody is ever fully healed, but you'll be a little bit more healed and a little bit more evolved personally. So that means whoever you get with will hopefully be equal to that. And then that means your offspring will be having a greater chance in some ways. But long story short, what came to mind is that so a late bloomer really ain't a bad thing, but that's just some kind of way. That's what's been attached to it. That definition has been turned into almost like something that's negative, but technically it's not. If you just really think about it, come on, boo-boo. Come on, this way. Murdoch, no. Hey, get out the damn street, munchkin. Where do you think you're going? No. Get back. Go. You lucky this is a slow street. What you smelling? Some damn food, fatty? Go. Anyway, so what he brought to mind was this. How actually that's a term that's probably not as bad as we think it is. And then also what came to mind is this. So what about when it comes to like interracial dating, and how I know the more that I'm starting to heal, the more that I'm able to look at a person and see them, a person I typically maybe wouldn't be attracted to, even though they meet the standards of beauty, you know, they're beautiful and handsome or whatever, somebody that I'm typically not attracted to for one reason or another. The more I heal, the more I'm able to look at somebody and have it's more of an energetic attraction that I can have for somebody versus just looking at them strictly for the superficial reasons of why I'm attracted to them. You know how just the term like that's not my usual type and all of that. What if your usual type is something that's also been programmed and conditioned and burned into your fucking psyche, and that a usual type is a in some way, shape, or form, almost like it's something that's a hindrance in a way. It's a hindrance. It's a programmed idea, and that actually a usual type don't really exist. It's more about, do you have soul recognition with this individual? Is there some soul recognition there? Something that is that you identifying about this person that's actually something that you connecting with beyond just superficial shit. Is that something that could be possible versus just strictly a superficial thing? And I thought, but because when you say you got a usual type narrow down your window of opportunity of who you might end up mating with, who you might end up getting with and mating with. So you could be looking at your soulmate, but because you've been programmed to believe that you got a usual type, you might veer off from that person, not even realizing that that's somebody that you got actually placed here for you, but your perception is too small to even realize that the right way, because you strictly going off of some superficial reason that that's not my usual type, or you feel like I like that person, or I'm vibing with that person, but I feel like it's wrong to vibe with that person. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble. That person's off limits. But what if those are also some kind of social worldly norms that's been ingrained in our psyche that actually don't got nothing to do with nothing that God be talking about? I just think about relationships like Billy Carson and his wife. He's black, that lady is Asian. Or like Bruce Lipton and the woman, his person. Bruce Lipton is also like a thought leader about epigenetics and psychology and programming and conditioning of the mind, all that. He a doctor who was a mainstream doctor who left and started to go and dig deeper into epigenetics and all that kind of stuff. But even him and his person, so I think he's a white man, older man, and that woman that he with is like, at least she wear that Indian attire. But I thought, what if interracial dating is actually not a bad thing when it come down to, if you really think about it, even if a group of people or a culture of people or a race of people have a lot of wealth in their generation, each type of people got some kind of ingrained conviction, idea, or belief system that's coming from way back in the past that's not serving them. All populations of people. And so I was thinking about, so if you get two super enlightened people together that's from two different races, that's really understanding and understanding about programming and societal conditioning and the mindsets and just limiting belief systems and all of that, these two different people from two different backgrounds. So if these people had an awakening and are super aware and enlightened, when they have children, it's certain convictions and belief systems that are oppressive on both sides for both of those people that's coming down a bloodline, where being that it's two different nationalities connecting, you would almost be breaking off limiting beliefs off of both sides, because it's not the same culture, or it's not the same race that's linking. So every race or culture got belief systems and shit that are disempowering in some way, or oppressive, or something or a thought or a belief about how you do life that is either making their bloodline die out earlier than it's supposed to, just all kind of stupid shit. But sometimes when you mix, that means you're enlightened and you from two different worlds, but you can get together off of just solely soul recognition. Attraction, yeah, is there, but you can look past skin color or whatever the fuck. And then as you connect, the offspring that you will raise, some of those strongholds and belief systems that's on both individuals, because of the background that they're coming down from, it could be broke off of the damn children. Them beliefs will be broken off of them children, and them children can potentially be a little more enlightened, a little more wise, a little bit have a little bit wider of a perspective as far as their worldview and self-perception. And in some ways, it might even make that kid be a little bit more empowered, because they're born into a family where, if one person have a stronghold or a belief system that's a little bit disempowering but don't know it, but then their mate don't even think like that, then that means it's an opportunity potentially for that stronghold or that belief system that cycle to be stopped with that couple's offspring, because that way of thinking and that logic or those ideas will be almost voided out because of the mix from they come from two different places, the mixture right there. So I thought, so what if sometimes mixing couples from two different races or two different just cultures or whatever, sometimes what if that mixing actually isn't bad, and that's just another form of programming to keep people a little more disempowered, or to be make you stay judgmental and in the box. Wait, Murdoch, stop. Come here. Come here. Come here. Hey, come here. Come here. I saw this damn possum. I ain't playing around. Little fat possum. 1 second. 1, 2, 3. But yeah, that was just something I was thinking about. I said to be what they call it? Yeah, to be a late bloomer, man, that's an illusion. That's an illusion. I mean, yeah, you don't want to have your kids too late because there's a chance you be high risk pregnancy. But then other than that, it might not be so bad. Because I know I'm just noticing for myself specifically, the more I heal, I'm starting to look at people like even Kiki Palmer was talking about that. It's funny. She was like, I love whoever loved me. I'm not like that necessarily. I mean, I love people, but what I'm saying is it's a more of an energy thing now. The more that I'm growing and maturing in my walk, mature a little bit, becoming a little bit more mature spiritually. It's more of an energetic spiritual thing. So like if I ran into somebody that was just totally supposedly not my usual type, just based off of some kind of programming that I've actually had, I'm now becoming more mature where I can look at it like, but energetically, spiritually, I'm vibing. They might not, I don't know, they might not be as tall as I would prefer, or their skin might not be as dark as I would prefer, or their skin might not be as light as I would prefer, or whatever. But I'm starting to realize that it's something beyond that. Because can you imagine if 2 super enlightened, woke ass people got together, even if they was from 2 different fucking races, what that would mean? Like 2 people who really get that shit, get what life is really, really all about, who understands, like what that would really do, what that would mean. I think that's pretty dope. Because that's how you move the needle forward. That's how you can actually move some needles forward sometimes. I mean, I think staying with your same race, that's fine too. But I'm just saying, at some point, you got to be willing to be a little bit more open-minded and see something a little bit clearer. Like, what if that's some kind of programming to keep people small and in the pocket? What they call them, like power couples. It ain't power couples, yeah, but it's not necessarily only talking about the material world. I'm talking about power couple, meaning, if 2 super enlightened ass people get together, even if they're from 2 different spaces in the world, if that love is there, spiritual maturity is there, that enlightenment is there, that offspring coming through them people who finna have a huge advantage over maybe the typical kids. Because that's 2 super enlightened ass people who've broken off so many yokes off of their bloodline on an individual basis. And then who knows however many yokes or strongholds is going to be broken off that couple before they have kids, just from them being a couple and just having the different discussions about different beliefs and ideas and the way they were raised to think about certain things that the other person in the relationship weren't raised to think. That means that's more strongholds and oppressive beliefs that's going to be broken off each individual. So then you go and you have kids. Them kids are not going to be raised with the same strongholds that even those super enlightened parents had. Them kids ain't going to be raised with those strongholds on their psychology. So that means they're going to be more free. They're going to be more open and able to evolve and be all that they were created to be without so much mental, psychological limitations on the way they see the world and see what's possible as far as what they can create with God on their own. They won't have as many blockages. So anyway, I'm trying to say it. Hopefully I'm making sense in some a little bit, or hopefully you can just take what I'm saying and piece it together. It's just something that dropped in my head. Basically, it's almost like words and shit that the people that societally or that typically has been made to look at as negative. Some of them words ain't as negative as they've been made to look like. It's all about the meaning that you place on them. And I guess that's just something to think about. Well, what do you think? So that's just like they say, a failure. Is it really a failure, or did you learn a lesson from it? Just stuff like that. Murdoch, come on. Come on, this way. Like failure. Is failure really failure? Okay, there's societal standards and what society say failure is. But then on the spiritual aspect, they don't look at it that way. They look at it like that was an opportunity for you to learn something, get the nugget of wisdom from whatever that was you experienced so that you won't do it again. And really, actually, what you did was you was the person who had to go through that thing that might have appeared as a failure, but actually you just broke off a stronghold off of your bloodline that nobody was able to break off of their bloodline. And it might have looked messy and shitty at the time you was going through it, but actually you cleared a cycle. You just completed a cycle that nobody in your bloodline was able to complete. What if it can be looked at like that? So is that a true failure? So it's all about the meaning that you give to shit. Just like they say, success got different meanings for different people too. So in other words, that's why they say it's so important to get to a point where you can kind of think for yourself. Think for yourself. And okay, there is general terminology and ways that you need to be looking at your worldview and shit. But at the same time, certain stuff that's just inherently meant to oppress you or disempower you or make you feel like you don't have any value personally, you got to figure out a way to spin that kind of shit on this head and not be taking it in. And think for yourself and figure out, well, how can I make my situation, this work out better for me? How can I look at this differently? And am I seeing this clearly? And I guess that's the bottom line. That's what he just brought to my mind, though. So I just wanted to get that out. Like I said, I just woke up from a damn power nap, walking this baby. But he just brought that to mind. He was like, being a late bloomer, yeah, shit, that ain't necessarily negative. So don't believe that. And it might be a blessing in disguise because you might be getting ready to come across your true high-level soulmate, your divine counterpart, if you can open your mind enough to be able to recognize them when they're in your face. Like they say, a lot of people, you probably already came across your soulmate, but you're not interpreting, you're not seeing it clearly because you got some kind of blinder on and you're looking at it like face value. If it is my soulmate, it's no way, because they don't have purple skin. There's no way that's my soulmate. But actually that is. And if you were to heal a little more, you could have the soul recognition necessary to be able to identify that person so that no more time will be delayed and you can move forward on your journey and figure out what y'all are here to be doing together and get these smart ass kids down here, these baby geniuses. Anyway, I love y'all and I'll talk to y'all a little bit later. That's just something that came to mind. And so I just wanted to share it while I was walking, at least share the best that I could. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all a little bit later because it's a little squirrely. So, okay, bye.